Hi, my name is Michael, this is The Slice, and in today's episode, we're interviewing James Perryman. So today I'm very excited to welcome James on the show. James, are you excited?
Extremely excited, Michael.
Good, I can tell in your tone of your voice. So basically the rules are you get 20 minutes to talk about whatever you want. You can talk about your business, you can talk about your personal life, you could talk about your neighbour winding you up during lockdown. Whatever you want to talk about, this is your 20 minutes. So I've got my timer. Are you ready for me to start it?
I'm ready.
Good stuff. That's what we like to hear. So your timer has started. So James, first of all, tell me and the viewers a little bit about yourself.
Bit about myself. So I'm James. I live in the Northwest, so just outside Warrington. I have had a business called Momentous for 4.5 years now. So this is my 5th year.
Yeah.
And I've just launched a new business in March called My People Club. But I'm going to talk more in reference to what I do with Momentous.
Okay.
I am almost 45, still playing rugby. Still consider myself fast enough to run with the younger ones, but I think I'm also kidding myself. I've got 2 grown-up boys, so technically they are classified as men as they are aged 20 and 24. And I'm experiencing lockdown, I think would be the safest thing to say.
Yeah, it's not easy, is it?
It's not, no. And as someone that gets their energy from being around
out
people,
about,
I know a lot of people say that, but as someone that does coaching and someone that does training, particularly training, being in a room with 10 people or 20 people or doing kind of keynote talking, part of what spurs me on and energizes me is being around people and reading them, reading their body language, their facial expressions. And I'm missing that. Zoom's great.
Yeah, and it's not, to be fair, what you've just literally said, the perfect thing there. You know, it's connections. I've spoken about this in previous episodes of other people. You know, video is great. Yes, you can build and you can break down barriers with video, but that personal touch, that connection with you, that vibe you get from somebody, that's something that you can only really get by actually having a one-to-one or being in a room full of people that are all oomph and ready to go. So obviously your business has probably changed somewhat. How have you adapted? Have you just, put your feet up and put Netflix on? What have you done since lockdown has happened? And be honest.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because it was, I think there was a decision to make that I think every business owner had to make at the start of lockdown, of either doing the Netflix route and accepting it, or saying, do you know what, my business is still going to run. And I think I didn't consciously make the decision, but I stuck with what I was doing and stuck with running business. And everyone uses the phrase pivoting, and I guess that's what I did. I tried to take more of what I do in a classroom, in a meeting room, as coaching, and take that online using tools like Zoom and Skype and so on. And that's what I'm doing, and it's been moderately successful. I think I've, if I look to next week, I've got 2 days blocked out training with a company. The week after, I've got a mix of training and coaching with different organizations. And so that's good because that's keeping my business going. It's keeping me visible to people, and I'm remaining visible, on social media and so on, because that's a decision I've made. And it is tricky. My partner is, she took redundancy at the end of last year. So consciously wanted to have January, February, March to relax, to make a change from having spent 3-4 days a week away from home for the last 20, 30 years. She wanted to take time out. So she's extending that time out, and she's enjoying the sunshine that's out there. So she's out there in the sun, and I'm inside with jumper and trousers on because it's colder inside the house. Thinking,
how very dare she?
I know. So I think, it was a conscious decision that I made. And it's interesting, running training sessions through Zoom is fine because you get to see people. You can read some of their facial expressions. You can tell when you've got people engaged. You can tell when someone's busy looking at their phone or doing something else.
Yeah.
The challenge is when you work with a company who don't have video and you're talking to a faceless room for a couple of hours. That's hard work.
I think Zoom kind of magnifies people's kind of if they're engaging or not. I know that I do a PT class 3 days a week. And, you know, if I can't do a workout, I know that I am on a Zoom call with other people watching. So there's an onus really. So, and the good thing about video is, you know, it says what it sees, you know, and I think,
yes,
you know, it kind of does filter out the good and the bad, doesn't it? And the kind of attitudes that people have. There have been two types of people that have either gone, feet up, let's party. And no, actually, I mean, for myself, I've wanted to get a lot of video content out there. I've created a show that I didn't even think I was going to create. But I'm being creative again. It's lovely. It's been nice to actually have. And I think creatives have to have a space where they can breathe. A lot of my work consists of filming and editing. I have a lot of clients that are either on retainers or actually, you know, I'm doing work week in, week out for. So to actually switch off and find time to do my own stuff has been quite hard. How have you found being in lockdown, having that time to go, right, this is now business hours, and this is now obviously time to relax? I mean, are you being hard on yourself? Are you actually working more because you don't know when to switch off? What's your process?
Do you know what? I'm actually better now. I've got more control now than I probably have pre-lockdown. So pre-lockdown, I was working from home a lot as well as being out and about, but the lines got blurred of stopping working. Whereas actually, I think because I've unconsciously made that decision, I'm getting up decent in the morning, and rather than my old pre-lockdown routine of getting to the gym at 6:30 in the morning for a circuit class,
you crazy person.
Crazy mad person, but it's the only way I could do it, and with people.
That's why you look younger than I do.
That's right, I'm really 24. But I'm getting up decent in the morning, but then I'm cracking on doing a day's work, but I'm finishing by 6 at the very latest, so that my partner and I are either, like you are, doing a PT session through Zoom or a pre-recorded one, or if I've got kind of a more of a weight session that my PT's given me, we're doing that, or we're going for a walk, or we're getting the Wii out, if anyone remembers what a Wii was.
Wow, I had one of them once.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had one. We still got one. We're still flying the Wii flag.
Yeah.
And, playing tennis or baseball or going skiing or
bowling.
We're doing something every day. Bowling is ace.
Yeah, it's good.
So we've got that routine in, and I'm making sure that when the weekend comes, unless there's something really urgent, it's the weekend. So I'm keeping that routine, and I'm better at it now than I have been ever, probably.
Yeah. And that's it. And I think, do you think, obviously, going back into that environment again of normality, do you think that your business will have been affected to the point where you will change your behaviours? Are there things that you will do thinking, I don't need to go for a one-to-one in a coffee shop. I don't need to, waste an hour traveling somewhere when I can just do it over Zoom? Because Zoom and Skype and all these softwares have been out there for years, but we've all been forced into using them. Do you think that you're going to go back being a bit more mindful on how productive your time is more spent?
Completely. I tend to be a sucker for the whole, hey, let's grab a coffee, mentally thinking it's half an hour, but then 2 hours gets wiped out traveling, being there, not sticking to half an hour. And I'm guilty for that, which I know. This is way more productive. It's easy to say to someone, shall we have a one-to-one after a networking event, or because we've not caught up for a while? And you can just book in the 30 minutes, or Zoom naturally kicks you out, or you can claim it's going to kick you out after 40 minutes. Yeah. So I think I will be more productive. So it means I can actually have more one-to-one conversations with people, prospective clients, that kind of thing, in a much easier way. In the space it would take me to get to a coffee shop, have a coffee, and come back, I could have 3 conversations. So I think it will change how I approach business, and I think it will change the model that I can use with people in a mix of kind of classroom training or one-to-one face-to-face coaching, and then follow up online. Because I'm running effective training online now, I can still run that effectively when
going
we're out
forward.
at the other end. And
totally. What do you, obviously you say you enjoy the room of an atmosphere and people, and I think we all do. I'm the same. I'm someone who loves to be around other people, and I think that's where a lot of my business comes from, the fact that people don't invest in the fact that I'm a good videographer. They invest in me because they know, I like Mike, I actually want to be around him. Do you find that a lot of your work is based on that personal connection, that one-to-one, that energy in a room?
Yeah, I do, and it's something that I really try. I try to make sure that people understand that working with me, it is about the results, but it's about the experience as well. I want
Yeah.
people to get to the end and say, do you know what, we've delivered an outcome. You've increased my self-awareness, my ability to communicate my messages better, my team's working better.
Yeah.
But you know what, it was fun doing it with you. And you know, when I've run workshops and I get feedback from people on LinkedIn or Trustpilot, I really like it when it says, kind of, James really engaged us. He listened. He brought us together. And I've won business before with bigger businesses where you've got an old school chairman who says, I remember training was sitting in a classroom with a laptop or a computer or a workbook, and you just sat there and head down and worked. He said, you got us talking. You got people who don't know each other getting on. It's not my generation. It's not my thing, but I know it's what we need now.
Yeah.
So we want.
And I think obviously with the age of the internet as well, I always say to people, you know, when I talk to businesses that don't want to be on camera, you know, these one-man bands or these small business owners, and they want to hire actors, and I say, well, you know, I can do that, but where's that personal connection? You're the only person that can speak passionately about your business. You're the only person that knows your business inside out. So there is only one person on this planet that can sell your wares, and that's you. But it is harder. But I know for a fact that after this pandemic, more and more people that would not have necessarily have done video have embraced it at some point. Shape or form, you know. So I know that when I go back to work, there will be plenty of work for me to be, you know, keeping myself busy with, because people are going to want to start promoting themselves again. But it is really interesting how, like you said before, people have really kind of gone one way or the other. Talk us through the process in what you do, from going in on day one to that end result.
So let me do it from a coaching perspective then.
Yeah.
So people who engage me because they're typically in business, but they're frustrated. They're kind of mid-career, thought they would be doing better than they were, earning more money, having a bigger car, having a better lifestyle, but a bit confused of why it's not. Or they are running their business. So they're a business owner and the business has grown faster than they expected. Or people who are out of business, people who are being made redundant and have lost their motivation, they've lost their mojo, and they're too busy getting annoyed rather than focusing on moving forward. So first call is always a coffee or a Zoom call with said person to get to know them, to understand what's going on for them, and for them to get to know me. Because you know, if I'm confident I can help someone, that's great, but I need them to want me to help them. It's like you said, they need to like me. They need to think, do you know what, I'm going to trust this guy to work with me to help protect my future, to help get me a job, to help, you know, me run my team better, run my business better. So there's always that first free session, which is, let's get to know each other. Let me be super clear on what you need, and so that I know I can help you. And if I can't help you, I won't pretend to. I'm more likely to try and connect you to someone that can.
Yeah.
And then from there, depending on location, where they are, then we will set up a series of one-to-one sessions. So I kind of say it needs to be a minimum at least of 3 sessions, because with coaching, what happens is people will have that first session and it will be more about self-discovery and self-awareness, to know, you know, what are the things that hold them back, what's in the way that's stopping them kind of seeing a future. And when we break that down and they understand more about themselves, it feels quite progressive, and it feels like they've made a real change. And if I ran my business where I said, we'll just take it one session at a time, they would finish that first session, have that feeling of euphoria, of a positive outcome, and think, I don't think I need this guy now. I think I've got it. I think I can take this forward. But the stuff we'll agree, the actions they want to take, they'll then get brought back into business life, everything that was in the way before, and you know, they keep putting back what they needed to do.
Yeah, not actually tackling it.
Yeah, at least 3 sessions to be saying, right, how are we getting on with this? What's next? And almost, you know, hold them to account. So we have minimum 3 sessions, and they'll either be face to face if we're close enough, or we do it over video technology for sure, because I think it's really important.
And I think also you just said then accountability. And that is the key thing, isn't it? It's making sure that someone is accountable for themselves, because you could teach them, you could show them the way, you could give them the key to the golden gate. And, you know, it's down to them. You know, you're only as good as the people that actually listen and close that, you know, and this is why I listen more now to people. You know, when I first started out in business, if I was having a one-to-one or trying to, you know, get someone to have a video or you know, I would be to a degree selling myself and doing all the talking. And really what I do now is I go, well, you know, what is it you want? Tell me what you want to achieve, where you want to go, who you want to aim it at. Let me listen, let me find out your story and see if I can help and put something forward to go, well, actually, this is what you need. If you need any more information, you know where I am. You know, it's there.
Yep.
And that's by listening. And actually, someone told me, they said, Mike, what you need to do is you actually need to listen rather than try to sell yourself, try to promote yourself, you know, because I'm not a salesperson by any means. If someone wants a video, they'll, you know, come and ask me for a video, right?
Yep.
I don't sell my wares. And, you know, for me personally, I think just by that one thing, by listening and being accountable and actually going, actually, this person has a problem and I need to figure out how I solve that. And it sounds pretty much the system that you're using, really, that you listen, you then go, right, this is where they're at, this is what they need, this is, and then you lay it out and go, well, that's where I think you need to go. And then that's up to them, isn't it, really?
It is. And part of the process of coaching is having in your mind, this is where I think they need to be, and letting them find their way there. Because the difference would be if I had pointed it out to them and took them on that path, that's probably more of a mentoring thing than a coaching thing. But it is, it's asking the right questions. And you said, you know, exactly what you said. If you ask the right questions and listen, then you can help people more and more. There's a saying that's often kind of used in sales courses when they say when someone wants to buy a drill bit, they don't want to buy a drill bit, they want to have a hole in a wall. And even more than that, maybe they want to put shelves up. Now, knowing someone wants to put shelves up is you would have a whole different conversation and support them better than just saying you can buy a drill from B&Q.
Exactly.
So it's really about questioning and listening, like you say.
Or just hire someone to put up I mean, we're diverting, but I get what you mean. But you know, I really, you know, it's funny, you know, every time we've had conversations and stuff, and when I've met you, I've always felt that energy and that kind of surge of positivity. So it's, you live and you breathe this, don't you? This is who you are. This is what you do. How did you get into it all?
I got into coaching by being on the receiving end of it. I saw the power of it through when I was in my own corporate career, and it transformed my career at that time. For the last few years of my career, I worked for a company called Telefonica, who own O2
they do,
across Europe. And so I worked in their global HR team, and I was running coaching programs, talent development programs, and everything around people across Europe, and just seeing the different cultures, working with different people who were aspiring to be better leaders, aspiring to be better in business or better for themselves. I just love being in that environment and being a part of their journey. And I think the key thing for me is what I love is that moment where someone gets what they can do. They see their potential, they know what it takes, and I start them on that journey. And the longer I can be with them on the journey, the better. But I just want them to crack that bit where they've got rid of all the stuff that's getting in the way, the voices, the barriers, exactly what's weighing them down. And they've got that plan moving forward. That's a beautiful moment. And it's part of why I call the business momentous, that moment.
You're like a business Gandalf, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've never thought about it that way before, but you are. That's yeah. If I ever see any promotions now with Gandalf in it, I will.
10%. Yeah.
No, it's just really interesting, and you know, you are a very inspiring person, and I've really looked forward to today's interview, and I've done a fair few today, and they've all been great, but this was the one I was going. I'm looking forward to this one. So you know, and that's the thing, and I think what you offer is something that is really, really good. I think, you know, more and more people just need to be guided.
I think, and everyone does, even the most senior of business owners, even coaches need a coach. You need someone that is your mirror, that ask you questions that get you thinking. And I say to people at the beginning when I work with them, like, I'll apologise now because I'm only going to apologise once. So I will ask you questions that might make you feel uncomfortable, but I'm doing it for a good reason. Because if I don't ask them, no one else will, and they'll always be there niggling you. So I'm going to ask it, we'll get it out of the way, we'll tackle it, and then we've got a clear path moving forward.
No, it's really good. And I just think, yeah, you're absolutely right. Honesty is the best policy, because literally if there's something underlying that hasn't been tackled, you're literally not getting to it. And this is why you've just got to go, well, this is it. Some bits I like, some bits I don't. This is where I'm at. And then it just means that you can actually offer the right service rather than offering something that you think is the right story when in actual fact it's not. And, I suppose really you've got to get them in that mindset of going, they need to be comfortable around me. They need to invest in me and know that I'm asking these questions purely on the fact that, we need to get the right results. That is your timer. You are done.
Just as I was about to say.
I know. I'm so sorry. And this is the thing that gets me with the show. It's literally, I could talk for hours, and I think with you coming on the show is really kind of given me some nuggets of advice there. So thank you so much for coming on to the show. Have you enjoyed it?
Very much so. Thank you, Michael.
Good. It's my pleasure. Well, if anybody would like to watch any previous episodes, you can go to our YouTube page, which is youtube.com/Take the Cape Pro, or you can go to our Facebook page by searching Take the Cape Productions, and all the episodes are on there. I just want to say to James, thank you very much for coming on the show. And if anybody would like to come on the show in the future, all you have to do is drop me a message. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon.